But for the most part, I think the entire internet at that point kind of saw Pokimane for what she really is. Because in her video, she puts up like this persona of being this super nice girl, you know, no toxicity, just super fun, super positive, always happy, you know, just a good person overall. Which that type of person, I fucking can't stand, dude. It's the reason I don't watch a lot of big YouTubers, is because most of them are just fake as fuck, and they do the exact same shit. Like, they're too afraid to say anything controversial, they're too afraid to say what they actually think, and they act like complete fucking retards on the internet. And I don't like when someone who pretends to be someone they aren't comes onto the fucking internet and tries to virtue signal and tell everyone else how wonderful they are and how they should act more like them when the person they're acting like isn't even the fucking reality to begin with.
As wise words have been said, we all feel powerful when we get some degree of fame. And sometimes the fame drives you mad. It can make you soulless.
And then the real you shows. So very recently, I've come across some very concerning information on Griffin, and this information alone makes some of my videos where I defended him look somewhat outdated. Needless to say, some of this is daunting. Recently, a controversy surrounding Griffin Gaming was revealed, and the information on it was leaked by a Discord member known as Jess. Now, let's give a little bit more context here. Jess was a Discord member in Griffin's server who was quickly promoted to moderator, and then she immediately began abusing her powers in the server. This is mainly because Griffin's moderators are supposed to be reincarnations of the Discord mod memes, but I'll dive into that a little bit later. Before I reveal the screenshots, let me make it clear that Jess herself told me that I can share the evidence and that I can make her known. Recently, a YouTuber by the name of Raven Crossing has published a video surrounding the controversy. If you want to check his video out, I will put the link in the description. But if you want a basic rundown, Griffin's DMs with Jess were leaked, confirming Griffin to be a major simp towards Jess, which pretty much everybody was aware of, but we didn't know it was this bad. Right off the bat, the fact that Griffin's DMs clearly show him being a major simp towards a random e-girl on the internet is not only extremely creepy and pathetic, but it's also incredibly hypocritical, because Griffin has called out simps numerous times in the past on his channel, especially concerning Pokimane's fanbase. How incredibly ironic it is that Griffin calls out people for donating money to women on the internet for attention, while Griffin has been doing the exact same shit. From all of this evidence, you could basically call Griffin a top donor. In the DMs, Griffin is extremely desperate for Jess's attention throughout and feels completely shut out. He tries to call Jess several times, but she doesn't want to respond. He even went as far as to write a few paragraphs just to have her back, which is extremely pathetic. A word of advice to all of you: don't e-date someone on the internet unless you and your significant other are old enough to date and are completely certain that the relationship will work. And make sure they actually, like you instead of just leeching money from you. Because it's people like Griffin that ruin dating as a whole. Now, not only did Griffin simp for Jess like crazy, but Griffin also thought it would be a good idea to donate money to her, from what we know, up to 4K. Which also happens to include things such as an expensive gaming laptop, a Pikachu plushie, and his own merch. What I mean by his own merch was that he sent Jess a hoodie with a letter that said, "Please unblock me," to her house, in real life. Creepy. For more context on the hoodie, we have to go back to the DMs, because there were several times where Jess blocked Griffin, and the hoodie was sent in response, which is extremely degenerative to say the very least. Another reason why Griffin donated money to Jess was to pay for her college application to but the only reason why Griffin wanted to pay for her application was that if Jess got accepted, they could meet in real life. Griffin also offered to buy her plane tickets to Virginia, and of course, offered her a place to stay. At his place. It's just that lack of true self-awareness that really screws him over. Really. It's sad to see. I mean, his community, myself included, we've defended him multiple times throughout the past, and this is how it ends? Really? He chooses some random e-girl, simping for her just so she talks to him, meanwhile having a community that actually cares about him as a person and not just a portable online piggy bank. Furthermore, he goes against his own views by simping for this chick. It's stupid, it's desperate, and it's just downright depressing in a way. But I digress. Another thing that makes Griffin a giant hypocrite is the fact that, on YouTube, he will call out other people for weaponizing their fan bases. And yeah, that's a completely reasonable thing to call out people for, because people like Zombie Kills, Maximilian Muss, and Bonza are actually crazy people and really bad YouTubers. But here's the thing, Griffin's fanbase is basically no different. His fanbase will go their way to harass people on the internet that they don't like because of what they say on YouTube or Discord. Griffin will respond to these claims by saying that he doesn't have control over what his fans do, but here's the thing, by neglecting your fans' actions, you're encouraging it. You might as well start enforcing the rule to not harass people on YouTube if they will go their way to harass YouTubers, because if you don't, you're practically no better than Zombie Kills or Maximilian Muss or Bonza. Outside of his personal life, his Discord servers have been dumpster fires due to his mod team evading the rules and constantly circle jerking Griffin, no matter what he does. Also, they can earn some sort of internet clout. People in his server literally pay to be a mod there, and then do fuck all to actually live up to making that money worth anything. Really, the only people they ban or mute are people that voice opinions against something that they like or support, in which case they don't listen to them at all. They just get them out of the server, or they make sure they can't talk to anyone until they've, as most mods like to put it, calmed down. Like seriously, calming down? Does anyone pay attention to what happens in that server, not even mentioning general chat? It's either idiots spamming or being toxic for no reason, and then saying they were just trolling 40 minutes later after they pissed a few people off and decide to leave after starting shit. That accounts for over, I don't know, I'd say 75% as a rough estimate. Members there have quite literally spammed gore, lolly art, which is child porn, and pretty much any other disgusting vile crap you can think of that people like to use to spam in random servers for attention. Yet, those people don't get banned, they just get a slap on the wrist. If they do get banned, it's only because enough people complained about it and the mods get annoyed and want them to shut up. So using their logic, I am a lesser person if I have an opinion over something they don't like rather than if I enjoy looking at literal rotting corpses as a pastime. It makes zero sense. Hell, one of the mods' names is literally a slur. Now that's saying something. Editor's note, apparently one of Griffin's mods known as Solus was exposed as a pedophile recently. He pretty much was begging for nudes from a minor and sent dick pics. So yeah, that happened. Great job, Griffin. Good choice of mods. Another great example of mod hypocrisy is the situation involving a user named Griffith, where he posted femboy pics in Griffin's 2.0 server, got banned, but then when other people started posting the same thing, they never got reprimanded, and the server is pretty much overrun with it now. Which of course Griffin realizes and doesn't care, so he lets his mod team do whatever the fuck they want. In case you haven't realized by now, that whatever is jack shit. In fact, Griffin has always stated that he's in it for the money, and he has no reason to run a server other than to announce streams and plug himself into even more shit. Even more hilarious though is that the fact that Griffin uses his server to flex his quote-unquote wealth, which was confirmed by his mod team to come from his parents, not YouTube. Which isn't surprising because most of, if not all, of his videos get demonetized. Like seriously, you're a grown-ass man flexing on, in some cases, literal children with money that you haven't even earned yourself. Do you want an award? Or trophy? Nobody finds it impressive out of the two people in chat when it happens that they say, haha drip, or respect the hustle, because they have the brain equivalent of a literal mouse. I don't get it, man. Back to talking about the server itself. Pedophilia and addiction to lollies, which is, again, CP, is rampant. Like, people will come out and admit they look at that crap and nobody will do anything. It's pretty much accepted now, where, compared to 1.0, people would harass pedophiles until they left the server. To put it simply, these are the type of people that censor the E in pedo because they think it's a slur. And you know what? They're right. It basically is one. But by doing that, you're saying that you think pedophiles should not be indirectly offended. If you believe that, I have no hope for you. Regardless of your personal beliefs, this type of crap isn't even ban-worthy in the server. It used to be, but then the entire server became degenerates looking for somebody to leech off of. Oh, and regardless of how you feel about the hard R, you know the funny N-word that everybody loses their mind over? It was spammed countless times in the server. A lot by Jess herself, mind you, with no repercussions or consequence whatsoever. So again, think what you want about the whole controversy behind the N-word, but that is a normal occurrence when it comes to the server. Another story from an older time. Back when pretty much everybody with a working thought process could see this was going to happen later down the line. In 1.0, a user by the name of My Chemical Legion spammed a video involving bestiality. If you don't know what that is, it's zoophilia. And if you don't know what that is, I envy you. But please Google it. Just don't look at the images though, that will not end well for you. Anyway, he got mass banned for that, but Griffin harbored favoritism towards him, so he got brought back after being banned and unbanned 3 to 4 times in 2.0. Compare this to the user named Sparkshock, who posted hentai in a mod's DMs in 2.0 and was mass banned just like My Chemical Legion. Sparkshock was mass banned for something that is not even close to offensive as to what Legion did. Textbook example of favoritism. Great job there, guys. Also, aren't you mods supposed to be into that shit? Like, you'd think you'd keep him as an insider contact or something. I mean, it very clearly shows in DMs that the mod himself was enjoying it. Another thing related to Griffin 1.0 that clearly shows favoritism is the server's first ever mod purge. Some Discord members known as Meat Shield and Irwin were spamming shitposts that involved Etika's suicide, which is really fucked up. They were banned by mods, but Griffin, once again, brought them back, and the mods that banned these two people were demoted. The only proof of this happening is the DMs between Griffin and Hostile, and testimonies from the mods in 1.0. Now, if all of this doesn't show you how incredibly toxic these servers were, I don't know what will. The very fact that Griffin would just let his paid mods evade the rules and abuse their mod powers, especially Jess, should show you how two-faced Griffin is, and it shows all of the cracks in how Griffin runs a community. But unfortunately, it doesn't stop there, because there's one more attribute about Griffin that makes him such a bad person, and that is his complete lack of morals. You see, Griffin doesn't care about his fans, only for money. He sees you as nothing more than a dollar sign. The only reason Griffin will ever care about you at all is if you give him money, which is the exact same reason why some of these people are mods. Other than that, he doesn't care about you. He only cares about profit. Now, doing YouTube for the money is not necessarily a bad thing. Of course, when you grow into a big YouTube channel, you're gonna be making bank. But when all you care for is the money and you completely disregard morals, which includes caring about your fans, that's when it becomes a problem. And that's another thing that makes Griffin such a hypocrite, because he calls out Pokimane, again, for basically having this persona of how she's such a nice girl. Which is incredibly ironic, because Griffin acts as though Pokimane doing this is a morally bad thing, which it kind of is, but Griffin does the same damn thing. I mean, it's almost as if Griffin is taking Pokimane's roots when it comes to being a YouTuber. One more thing that proves that Griffin has a lack of morals is that one of his Discord members known as Ludophobia was banned from his server, and during Griffin's live streams, Ludophobia would donate money to Griffin asking him to unban him from the server, and Griffin would refuse to unban him because of the money that he kept donating to him. And with that, this pretty much covers the entire situation with Griffin up until now. So now let's get into what has happened very recently. Remember when I mentioned Raven Crossing's video? Well, Griffin responded to him in the comments section, and he completely lies through his teeth about the situation with him and Jess. He claims that he and Jess were close friends and that she wanted to e-date Griffin, but he refused, which is a flat-out lie, and some of the people replying to him further prove this, because Griffin makes incredibly weak responses to them. One time in his Discord server, a member known as SearchHubs, who you might recognize in my Bonza video, wisely pointed out to Griffin that Jess could have used their parents' credit card in order to use the Cash App, which would explain how Jess got it in the first place, because you need to be 18 plus years old to use the service. Griffin responded to SearchHubs with, "Cool story, bro," which is perhaps the weakest response he has ever given. This further proves that Griffin is not even trying to defend himself anymore as he did in Raven's comments section. And Griffin is not the only one lying to Raven. It turns out that Jess also popped in and lied as well. She told Raven that she did not consent to having these screenshots posted on YouTube or public in any way, when she is literally the one that leaked these screenshots and doxed Griffin to begin with, and she has given me permission to use them as evidence against Griffin. This should clearly show you that Jess is also two-faced, trying to manipulate the situation and show herself as innocent, which is extremely scummy. Jess is intentionally backtracking from the situation so that she doesn't look bad, even though we have evidence against her to prove otherwise that she did, in fact, give us permission to use the DMs as evidence against Griffin. Or, alternatively, this is just a theory, Griffin could be threatening Jess with a counter dox because he knows personal info regarding her. But, once again, that is just a theory, and as of now, there are no pieces of evidence to back it up. Yet, I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility. Look, the entire situation is shitty, and it's just the downfall of another piece of shit Leafy clone. Looking back, if somebody said that about Griffin, I would have defended his content. But now? Nah, the dude isn't worth defending by a long shot. One more thing, which should be said. The difference between Griffin's response in Raven's comments and his DMs towards somebody that held the information is just icing on this shit-filled cake. I mean, the dude literally says that making an exposed video is a quote-unquote low blow, and is in full damage control mode. His server is like that as well, with people deleting video links asking for him to talk about it, and Griffin is just ignoring it like it never happened. Do you really think somebody who is quote-unquote innocent would ignore it like it isn't happening? Any normal person would defend themselves if they were truly innocent, and I'd love to be proven wrong, but that just isn't the case. Perhaps the cherry on top is the fact that after Raven's video came out, Griffin was planning on deleting the server, which is no surprise seeing as how Raven pointed out how the server was being accused of being overly toxic. And what makes this even better is that they've already made a backup server even though Griffin himself said that he would never make a 3.0. And I suspect that the only reason why Griffin would ever delete the server is to destroy evidence. But it's too late. You've already been caught red-handed. So yeah, this has been an incredibly awful situation. Truly, the bigger somebody like this is, the harder they fall. I just can't comprehend the fact that Bring Halo Back was right. I mean, what the fuck?